Uh-oh. Okay, we'll start with this. Our continued coverage of all this past weekend's action now takes us to Germany, where Sarah Bormann took on Argentina's own Jennifer Meza for what was the newly vacated WBO title in the minimum weight division as a result of Senicia Estrada's unexpected retirement from the sport of boxing. This was a close quarters fight and very much a tight fight that for the most part was spent in the center of the ring, as neither Sarah or Jennifer was able to have it all their way, both fighting behind a very tight guard, capable fighters mid-range to inside, though I would say that Sarah Bormann definitely got the better end of it. There seemed to be more steam, more power on her punches, as opposed to Jennifer, who compensated for Sarah's power with speed. Speed and combinations, uppercuts up the middle. That was Jennifer's best punch and most effective punch in the fight. For Sarah, I'd have to say it was the left hook. She was able to periodically get left hooks in there, either around Jennifer's guard or in the exchange. Though as stated, it was a tight fight and it was a close quarters fight where neither Sarah or Jennifer was able to have it all their way. Two mid-range fighters trying to push each other back, struggling to penetrate the other's defenses. The body work from Sarah Bormann, that made a difference. The body work from Sarah Bormann was commendable, and she went to the body all throughout the fight. Landed quality shots to the midsection, able to land cleanly. These were not punches you had to look for, but credit to Jennifer because she took the punches well. As much as Sarah was able to land to the body, Jennifer showed good durability, and she didn't really slow down. She didn't really get tired. You would have thought that as many body shots as Sarah's landing to Jennifer's midsection, she would have faded down the stretch. She kept her shape and she held up all right, but I do think the difference was Sarah's power, that there did seem to be a lot more steam on Sarah's punches than Jennifer's. And so Sarah Bormann sees herself crowned the new WBO champion. There are currently two champions, only two, at this weight. Sarah Bormann, who won the WBO title this past weekend, and Costa Rica's own Garcia, who won the WBC title a little over a week ago. The other two titles, they're vacant, the WBA and the IBF. The reset button has been hit on the women's minimum weight division, and the landscape is rapidly changing. Currently, via both the WBA and the IBF, Australia's own Louisa Houghton, otherwise known as Bang Bang Lulu, and Argentina's own Sol Kudos are ranked at number 1 and number 2, respectively, via the both of those alphabet organizations. So theoretically, a fight between them could be for both alphabet titles, both the WBA and the IBF. You just need to get some money behind that fight to make it happen. Cross that bridge when we get to it. Now, as it pertains to Sarah and the potentiality of a Garcia fight, well, based on what I saw this weekend, I've always liked Sarah Bormann's infighting, her inside fighting. She's very big for this weight, lots of height, lots of length, and she's very strong mid-range to inside, though against Garcia, I actually think Garcia's a little better at that range. Better engine, too, and we know that she is the more experienced fighter. She's been a champion across 3 weight classes, 3 divisions, a 2-time minimum weight champion. So if a fight between them were made, I would edge the fight to Garcia, and it's conceivable that it's a fight where Sarah would have to travel, because Garcia has more money behind her. Not only does she promote out her own shows in her native Costa Rica, but here in the United States, she's promoted by Golden Boy and fights on DAZN.
She's got more pull. She's got more juice.
So I could see a situation in the coming year where an offer is made to Sarah Bormann to come here to fight Garcia in America on a Golden Boy Promotions show. I already think that Garcia Valle is fully capable of winning this fight off her ability alone, but in a situation like this one, it further enhances her chances of victory if she's the house fighter.
And I think she will be when the time comes.
I very much like Garcia Valle's chances to become this division's next undisputed champion. Though for now, congratulations to Sarah Bormann. The prediction stuck. I felt she could win a points decision off her volume, her power, and she did.
I've always liked this kid.
Elsewhere in the world of boxing, you may have heard that Ryan Garcia's effort to circumvent his suspension has fallen through. A wrist injury forced him to withdraw from the planned exhibition versus Rikuya Anpo on New Year's Eve in Japan. Garcia and event planners all confirm the exhibition is postponed, not canceled outright. The official statement reads, King Ryan Garcia injures wrist in training for exhibition fight in Japan. Exhibition showdown versus Japanese sensation Rikuya Anpo postponed temporarily. Los Angeles, December 15th, 2024. Boxing superstar King Ryan Garcia has injured his wrist in training camp, temporarily postponing his much-anticipated exhibition showdown against Japanese kickboxing champion Rikuya Anpo that was set to take place on Monday, December 30th in Tokyo, Japan, in an event presented by Risen and Fenmio. The event will be rescheduled for a date in early 2025. I saw Mr. Ryan Garcia on December 12th for recently aggravated bilateral wrist pain, explained a world-renowned specialist, Dr. Stephen Shin of Cedars-Sinai Orthopedics in LA. I recommend that he hold off on sparring and boxing matches for several weeks. Treatment options will be discussed with Mr. Garcia after further evaluation.
Bear in mind, Ryan hasn't seen action but once this year, the Devin Haney fight months ago.
I've been eagerly preparing for my upcoming exhibition fight in Japan, training hard in Dallas over the past several weeks, said the disappointed Garcia. Unfortunately, I sustained a hand injury during training and returned to LA to be seen by a doctor who advised me to postpone my December 30th exhibition. Garcia says he does not expect the injury to prevent his eventual showdown with Anpo, who has traded increasingly nasty public barbs with Garcia throughout the past month. This is only a temporary setback, and I sincerely apologize to my fans, Fenmio, Risen, and Anpo for the delay, added Garcia. No one is more disappointed than I am. Thank you for being so supportive. Fenmio CEO Solomon Engel says he understands that superstar Garcia must put his overall health above anything else and that he looks forward to Garcia's return. It's unfortunate what happened to Ryan, and we wish him good health and a speedy recovery, said Engel. We look forward to announcing a new date for this exciting event very soon. I've been told that Ryan Garcia is out due to an injury, said Rikuya Anpo. I am disappointed to say the least, but knocking out an injured opponent won't mean anything. So I wish him a speedy recovery, and I hope I can face the 100% version of Ryan. Get well soon, and I'll let you kiss my fist anytime.
This is the latest snafu that this event has suffered. The first was Oscar De La Hoya, Ryan Garcia's promoter, saying that they never signed off on this. They never cleared him to fight on this show, and until they do, it ain't happening.
Guess what? For one reason or another, whether it's Oscar De La Hoya or Ryan Garcia's inflamed wrist, it's not happening. What Ryan can do is take up employment at the local McDonald's in Victorville for what remains of this year to keep his lights on, keep the bills paid.
He ain't gonna be making no money from the sport of boxing, not for what remains of this year. For a second there, it looked like he found a way around his suspension, a way to make money. Technically, you're not fighting if it's an exhibition.
Outside of the New York State Athletic Commission's jurisdiction, so far from home, he almost got away with it. But I wondered about the whole thing. because if the promoter of the show is Risen and not Golden Boy, and the distributor of the show is Fenmio and not DAZN, does that not constitute a violation of his current promotional agreement with Golden Boy Promotions, because outwardly it seemed like he was trying to cut them out? And I question whether or not he had that kind of autonomy. You don't get to fight, and Asuka don't make no money from it. And that's the bottom line.
Got it?
And that may seem restrictive, that they've got their thumb on that guy, but these kids enter into these agreements without knowing what it entails.
It's your legal team, your lawyers, your manager. That's what they're supposed to clarify, what kind of autonomy you do and don't have.
I don't think anybody's too broken up that Ryan Garcia won't get to play Dancing Bear in the Land of the Rising Sun before this year is out. The only real virtue was it afforded him one more chance to make money this year, because he only fought once, just once officially this year. So this was a way around that suspension, and that was the only virtue in it. But the boxing fans, I don't think, are all broken up about Ryan not fighting on New Year's Eve.
There's plenty of other boxing coming on. Kazuto Ioka will be fighting Fernando Martinez for a second time on New Year's Eve.
The buck don't stop there. Apparently, Ryan Garcia has filed a counterclaim lawsuit on the Haneys. Orlando. Ryan Garcia's legal team has filed the counterclaim against the former two-division champion Devin Haney and his father Bill, issuing multiple denials to Haney's lawsuit claiming battery, fraud, and breach of contract, with Garcia seeking no less than $7.5 million in damages. The Haney complaint is being used for perverted purposes to coerce Garcia into a rematch, to cause economic harm to Garcia, to harm his reputation, to encourage unwarranted investigations, and to obtain media attention. Garcia lawyers Craig Weiner and Rena Jane described as wholly improper in the 33-page counterclaim.
That's what I figured. That the Haneys' lawsuit is more about achieving favorable terms with Ryan in a rematch than actually winning.
Than winning the case, because what they're doing is leveraging the lawsuit against Ryan, against the rematch with Ryan, that if you give the Haneys what they want, they'll make the lawsuit go away. But if you don't, they're going to follow through on it by calling Ryan Garcia a coward and a cheater, not agreeing to a rematch requiring voluntary anti-doping association drug screening.
That's what they're after.
After Ryan Garcia submitted 3 positive tests for the banned performance-enhancing drug Osterin around a 3-knockdown Garcia victory on April 20th that was turned into a no contest, the Haneys may want to settle personal scores, but their abuse of the judicial process and harassment of Garcia has cost Garcia to the tune of millions of dollars, and they must be held accountable. Garcia's attorneys wrote in their counterclaim filed December 4th. Devin Haney's attorney, Pat English, told Boxing Scene on Sunday that he views Garcia's counterclaim as silly. "It is so silly in my view, it's ludicrous," English said. Among the repeated denials of claims made by Haney, Garcia denies in the counterclaim that he ever took intravenous fluids in advance of the bout, and says the Haneys are not entitled to any of the relief sought in their prayer for relief. Plaintiffs claimed are barred because Devin Haney assumed the risk when he participated in the bout against Garcia, Garcia's attorney wrote, detailing that Garcia paid Haney $600,000 for coming in overweight by more than 3 pounds for the intended WBC 140-pound title fight at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, adding that Haney received 2% of the net event revenue plus his undisclosed purse money. Haney has alleged Garcia committed battery, fraud, unjust enrichment, and breach of contract upon the former champion from Las Vegas. The battery claim has led to Haney being ridiculed on social media because of the expected rigors of a boxing match, but Haney attorney English said such a response is ignorant. Battery is a legal term. I don't understand why Haney should take heat on it, English said. Battery means unwanted, forceful touching, and in this case, it's backed by a circuit court case discussing how a fighter taking a PED without the other fighter consenting is battery. It's settled law.
that is the appropriate course of action.
The counterclaim lawsuit of the Haneys mentions that Devin's father, trainer, and manager Bill Haney put a 48-hour deadline on Garcia in October to enroll in VADA testing and make the rematch. Later, Bill Haney distributed several posts on X, writing, "Ryan, you can't win a championship belt, so you wrap a waist belt around your arm and shoot Osterin instead. You know VADA will expose the truth. Fans deserve transparency, not excuses." Garcia's attorneys label the Haney lawsuit a baseless claim and seek to have the Haney lawsuit dismissed.
Seems like one frivolous lawsuit deserves another. Because there are some frivolities in association with Devin's claim, but there are also frivolities in association with Ryan's counterclaim. Because what did Devin do that caused you damages, that costed you money? What exactly? Because near as I can tell, the only thing that's costing you money is the Osterin that they found in your system, and under strict liability, you're responsible for that.
And Devin calling you a cheater publicly has everything to do with your positive test. That is not a matter of opinion, it's a matter of fact.
I mean, that's not slanderous.
You didn't prove anything to the New York State Athletic Commission, which is why you got suspended, because you never proved your innocence. So when a Devin Haney calls you a cheater, that's not exactly a baseless accusation. That's where Ryan's counterclaim is frivolous. Where Devin's claim is frivolous,
claiming assault and battery in association with a boxing match on the premise that the fighter knowingly took a banned substance relies on you proving that he knew.
And I don't think Devin Haney or Pat English can prove that Ryan Garcia knowingly took something. That's going to be very difficult to do. And that's where Devin's claim is a bit frivolous.
Both claims are.
Would be a lot better if both Team Haney and Team Garcia would stop doing their best impersonation of Perry Mason or Matlock and just get in the ring and fight. Go in there and do what you claim to do best. Do a rematch. Settle it that way.
It's not like it wouldn't be a big fight. It'd be bigger than the first one because the controversy only lended itself to a rematch's profile.
It would definitely be one of the bigger fights in the coming calendar year, but I do recall 2 months ago that Bill Haney did give Ryan a deadline to sign up for VADA testing, and Ryan blew it off.
Why should VADA testing be a problem for a fighter who claims to be innocent? A fighter who claims he didn't knowingly take a banned substance.
Is it because you don't trust the Voluntary Anti-Doping Association? There are others. There is USADA, there's Drug Free Sport, that if the hang-up is you don't want to use VADA because you don't trust them, then just use somebody else. It just looks a certain way when what they want you to do is start testing early ahead of what could be the second fight, and you don't want to do that.
So why should testing early be a problem?
The theory is that fighters don't actually use these banned substances in the camp en route to a fight. They use these substances in the off-season and receive the benefit. So by the time a camp officially starts, the drug will have left their system, but they'll still receive the benefits. That's the theory, and that's why Bill Haney wants the testing to start early.
Is that why Ryan doesn't want to?
It could be, because that's not an outlandish request. Not if you tested positive for Osterin in your last fight. Of course they're going to want you tested rigorously in your next one.
Common sense.
The way it looks, they're both making this rematch very difficult to negotiate and shortchanging themselves in the process because they both stand to benefit. They both stand to make millions upon millions in the rematch, which would be bigger than the first fight.
I do think Ryan has one or two more options than Devin does, and I don't think Ryan needs the rematch as much as Devin.
Though all the same, you don't fight this guy again, you're leaving millions on the table, and it makes it seem that much more obvious that you were cheating in the first fight. You knew exactly what you were doing, even if they can't prove it in a court of law.
This is evidence enough in the court of public opinion.
You look guilty.